So welcome back to the next episode of the bench build, and we have been presented with yet another challenge. This bench build seems to be full of them. Challenges, that's how we're going to overcome these challenges, decision-making points in the middle of the build, which are never fun, but it seems to be a common occurrence during this build, so it's nothing that's surprising me at this point. So the challenge is this. I made this apron, which was, as far as I know, it's a unique design. Not really a unique design. It's the same design as the English style bench that Paul made, which he put the design, Paul Sellers put the design for the wedge system in it. But I made mine 23 inches long, which gives it sort of that Nicholson style. I'll have dog holes drilled through this in multiple spots to be able to plane down something along the side of the bench, like maybe the edge of a door or something of that nature. So I've never heard of anybody doing one this long outside of a Nicholson style bench. I've never seen it with this system or anything like that. So it's kind of new territory for me anyway. So the problem that I had, I got this panel, all the boards planed down, glued up, planed it after they were glued up, chopped the housing dados, and I went to put everything away yesterday, and just as I had almost thought, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there is a little bit of cupping happening along the board this way, right? So what I didn't do, and I suggest you do if you end up building something like this or deal with a piece of wood this size in the future, I learned my lesson. I got lucky. The first three boards are alternating grain, right? So they go this way, and then this way, and then this way. But the last one also goes this way. So these last two boards, now this is a 2x6, 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 and then 2x8. So if I really needed to, and it was bothering me that much, and I needed a usable surface that I could work with on the back side of the bench, I could always take and rip this down the middle. Since I kept my taper per foot the same on this housing dado as I did on my small one, my shorter front regular apron. So how do we get around this? Either A, we decide to rip it down the middle, or maybe a little bit more, because when I wouldn't say it's flat, but it's much easier to take the cupping out of, say 12 or 13 inches than it would be out of 23 inches. So we could rip like 10 or 11 inches off of the bottom and plane down the rest and be good. But I did not want to give up on this. I don't want to. I think it's still salvageable. And even sitting here talking, it's still relieving stress and probably cupping even more. Until I get it mounted on the bench. And even then it may relieve some stress and settle out over time, so who knows what we're going to deal with in the end. But I think it's still salvageable at this point, so what I'm going to do is, and since it's so long, instead of running one bolt like Cody and Paul did, I'm going to run 2 bolts through each housing dado. That way it's a little more evenly distributed before I glue up the top to the top side of the apron. Now the taper, the cupping is not that much. It's only about an 1/8 inch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically put a couple of 2x4s along the backside, and I'm going to clamp down because the cupping goes this way. So I'm going to place the 2x4s here, and I'll clamp at the top and I'll clamp at the bottom. That way I can put a straight board up against my legs when I go to do my bolting. And I'm going to bolt. I'm going to cinch all 4 bolts down and see what that gives me. Now the crappy thing is, I mean, I say crappy, it's not crappy. If I end up ripping this in half, I'll still have the bolt in the proper location for that upper half, but now I'm going to be left with a hole in my leg that you're going to be able to see. Not a big deal, because I'll probably end up laminating a piece of 2x6 to the edge of the leg so that what's left of the apron will be flush with the leg. But it gives me a hold fast spot, whatever. I drill a little bit bigger for a hold fast and just call it a hold fast hole. But that's what I'm faced with right now. So I've decided not to cut it in half, not to rip some of the bottom off. I've decided to go ahead and mount it, because I did place it belly down on the table and put some clamps on it really loose, and it didn't take much pressure at all to straighten out the apron. So that's kind of where I sit right now. And if you've ever dealt with this, or you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. I'd love to hear if you've ever dealt with this before. I'd love to hear how you handled it. Yeah, so that's where I sit, and I'm going to stop talking and get back to work. Friends and family, love you as always. Everybody else, I'll see you later today.